In the limitless nothingness of space, there are two separate yet equally important groups. The general spacefaring public, who seek to happily live out their lives, and the psychopath who intends to end them. This is his story. So I overheard a couple guards talking about some loner scientist who was freaking out over this tree like it was some type of TLC's My Strange Addiction.
Morning, baby.
So I immediately ran to the monorail because I had to see this for myself. After sitting through that riveting load screen, immersive open world exploration segment, I ended up finding him.
I'm sorry, I really can't afford to be distracted. I need to get to the bottom of this.
But you're just staring at this tree like some sort of degenerate Coomer.
I am not staring, I am analyzing.
That's exactly what I tell my wife every time my neighbor runs by.
Would you be willing to retrieve some additional data for me?
As long as there's something in it for me, you dendrophile.
A mercenary, huh? Well, I'm sure we can work something out.
This is starting to sound like the same script as Fake Taxi. Beep beep.
There's a series of biosensors I've placed in various locations around New Atlantis, all calibrated to gather pertinent information. They've been running for long enough that I think it's time to collect and analyze their findings. If you would bring them to me, that would save time.
So I started hunting down these space eggs like I was some type of intergalactic fertility clinic. But wait, I'm trying to be more kid-friendly. So I started hunting down these space eggs like I was some type of intergalactic Easter bunny.
Did I scare you? Hello? Are you looking for eggs too? I've only found one so far, but I want to find more before anyone else does. So if you see some, can you tell me?
Of course he's going around stealing. Just look at him. I always say never trust anyone with a beige scarf.
Weird, right? Miss Seng over at UC Distribution bought the one I found, and she said she might buy more if I can find them. I could really use the credit.
Too bad, dork! A tree-humping scientist needs them, and who am I to stand in the way of a good time? So I made my way down to the UC Distribution Center in hopes of securing this last sensor.
Welcome to UC Distribution. Now, before you say a word, I am required to inform you that—
You should like and subscribe! What a weird dialogue choice, that's odd. Anyway, so I asked her about the sensor and told her it was a pretty important piece of gear and I needed it back.
Oh, really? Well, you can have it back for what I paid for it, plus a little extra. Let's call it a convenience fee, shall we?
Or you could hand it over before I turn this place into an American public school.
I could, but I did pay for it. I'd like to recover my losses. And it's all the way in the back room. I'd have to walk back there, then back out here. You did say this was important after all.
It is. It's very, very important, I think. But you made one mistake, distribution lady. You let me know where the sensor is. In the back room. So now I no longer have to pay you or paint the office with your insides. But wait, the room is heavily guarded, so how am I gonna do this? Maybe set an alarm, trigger a distraction. Maybe I can just sneak in and sneak on by? Ah, damn it, he's looking right at me. Oh, so he looks at me, sees me creeping in the doorway, and decides, now's a good time to leave. So rather than making an epic plan, setting an epic distraction, I just walk in and take the sensor.
You're always welcome back, if you don't mind a bit of a wait.
Yeah. Just don't mind this 4-foot-long egg-shaped bulge in my spacesuit. It's not a sensor, I'm just happy to see you. With all the sensors gathered, I made my way back to Bill Nye the Tree Sex Guy.
Recent scans of the tree have suggested that a significant portion of the interior is liquefied.
All that liquid inside the tree wouldn't happen to be white and sticky, would it?
This? Well, I've never seen anything like it. If it continues to increase, I'm concerned the entire tree may collapse.
Collapse under the weight of your splooge? No. If anything, it'll end up like that gym sock underneath my bed when I was a teenager. It'll eventually just stand up on its own.
It's too soon to speculate. I'd very much like to see the additional data before I say more.
Oh yeah, the data. Here are your sensors.
Wonderful. I'll just take these, and we'll see what they have to tell us. Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that my suspicions were correct. There is something wrong with the tree.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you're what's wrong with the tree.
Bad news, as it were, is that the internal composition of the tree is changing. In this particular case, the tree is now regularly emitting ultra-low frequency sound waves. They're nearly imperceptible now, but they're growing in strength. This is something we've never observed before. Depending on how large these waves grow, consequences for the city could be disastrous. I must consult with my colleagues in MAST at once. Thank you for your assistance. I hope these credits are adequate compensation.
You know what? Maybe he's onto something. I mean, if it's a vibrating tree, I'd give it a whirl. The next day, I went back to follow up with the woodland wanker, and he let me know that a colleague of his was giving him issues.
Unfortunately, there are some, shall we say, personal issues with acquiring it. Personnel issues, if you understand me.
I immediately assumed that the tension was due to his perverse sexual misconduct.
What? No, that is ridiculous. I am a professional. One of the other researchers in MAST, Emilio Hadek, has research I believe could be vital to my work here. He and I don't see eye to eye, and so far he's refused to turn it over to me. I'm hoping that if someone else were to ask, he might be more inclined to relinquish it. What do you say?
You want me to jam the drawers of his desk so that way they only come out about 2 inches, so that way he can see what's inside them but can't reach it?
I suggested nothing of the sort. Although, now that I think about it, I confess, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Anyway, no. I just need his data. I am sure that can be acquired without force, or the threat of it. 90% sure.
Say no more, you granola gargler. I'll handle this situation with delicacy and finesse.
Well, then I guess we don't have anything else to discuss, and Kelton can just forget about getting his hands on the data. See you around.
This absolute greaseball refused to hand over the documents unless I broke into his workplace and permanently altered his work history so he could get a promotion. Disgusted at the thought of such a callous act of corporate injustice, I did what any sane person would do. I waited until he was alone and used my pickpocketing skill to steal the documents. Just kidding, I pulled out my combat knife and murdered him in cold blood and looted the documents off his corpse. He climbed the corporate ladder all the way to heaven.
I hope you have the data. It's really quite crucial.
Oh yeah, I have it. You wouldn't believe what I had to do to get this. Oh, don't mind those blood spots.
If it's all the same to you, I'd prefer to go on not knowing. I'm sorry if this was complicated. I'd prefer to remain unaware of the details in the event that it comes up later, particularly in a legal setting. And I suppose I'd better verify the data to make sure Emilio didn't double-cross me. But you have once again come through for me. I'm truly hoping that this is the last piece I need to figure out what we can do.
What we can do is bury Emilio's body underneath the tree so that his corpse can provide it nutrients.
That is hardly reassuring. It is, in fact, the exact opposite. Still, though, thank you for your assistance.
Ah, this is nice. A little theft, a little murder, saving trees. I feel like the Clintons.
You know?
Anyway, after a few days of additional space pirating escapades, I made my way back to the Timber Tickler and asked him if his wooden waifu was dead yet.
That's a very reductive and borderline insulting way of looking at things.
He goes on to tell me that this tree is basically like an unhinged TikToker using sympathy to clout chase. If it doesn't get the desired response, it's gonna shake New Atlantis worse than a crying newborn in Michael J. Fox's house.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Jesus Christ! What the hell? What? Did you shake that up on purpose?
Parkinson's.
His solution,
if you can call it that,
is to get a branch from another tree of the same species and turn it into a vibrator for science? He's gonna use that then to...
I could attempt to simulate a response.
From his G-spot.
All right, off you go. We don't have any time to waste.
You heard the man. It's time to travel 1 billion intergalactic miles and visit a dusty cowboy planet just so this flora fondler can get his rocks off. But like Magneto walking into a metal dildo shop, the museum displays fly off the shelves as soon as I arrive. What a terrible first impression. Wanting to get off this brokeback moon rock as quickly as possible, I approached the curator and without any introduction, let her know that a man with a forest fetish sent me to retrieve her vibrating branch.
That is not something I expected to hear today.
After a little persuading, she handed it over.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Please return it in one piece.
Weird thing is, she didn't even get up to hand it to me. It was in her pants the whole time. Actually, now that I think of it, every now and then I hear weird noises coming from my wife's underwear drawer. She may have one of these branches too. You know what? Maybe I judged this place too harshly at first. I should give Aquila City a chance.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
After making the treacherous journey through the menus and loading screens, space, I brought the vibrator back to this tenacious trunk toucher, but I made it clear that he absolutely had to return the phallic foliage.
Yes, of course. I'll see that it is returned to her in one piece. Well, perhaps minus a few shavings.
From the friction. With the vibrator safely in place, the lumber humper sent me on one final task. I had to break into the local news network, hack the systems, and send out an emergency broadcast blasting his favorite lovemaking music to get him in the mood, so he could, save the tree, I guess. Lucky for me, this genius multi-million-dollar news organization actually keeps the computer which runs their entire network conveniently located in the lobby of their office, unguarded and free for public use. After easily uploading the file and running a quick diagnostic, I made a quick escape outside so I didn't miss the broadcast. Now if this doesn't put you in the mood, you really are dead inside.
We've done it!
Well, that's good. Crisis averted. I guess that means you can finally leave this poor tree alone?
I'll be keeping a much closer eye on our friend going forward.
Oh. Well, I guess to recap, I stole, murdered, bartered, and hacked my way into not only successfully saving the city, but ensuring that this budding romance can bloom into something special. Huh? Okay, I'll stop. If you made it this far into the video, congratulations. You probably have some type of undiagnosed mental illness, but regardless, I appreciate your support. Be sure to like and subscribe for more adventures. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.